As you board, please move across your car to make room for everyone, and kindly offer available seating to those needing special assistance. If you're standing, please hold on to the handrails and stay clear of the doors. They will be closing in a moment. Thank you.
Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome to another episode of Disney Assembled. I'm Troy.
And I'm Mimi.
And we are your happy little father-daughter podcast, here to create joy and share our love for all things Disney.
Disney Assembled is sponsored by our patrons over on Patreon, Brenda, Danny, Connie, and Andrew.
Yes, thank you guys very much. If you would like to join them and get access to patron-exclusive, member-exclusive content, head on over to our website, disneyassembled.com, and click on the Become a Patron button. Membership starts as little as $2 a month. We'd really appreciate your consideration there. However, if you're looking to add some additional Disney magic to your day, check out Magic and the Mouse Radio. Magic and the Mouse Radio is the best internet-based radio station for all Disney music, 24/7, 365. You can also hear our show on Magic and the Mouse Radio every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern.
In addition to the Magic of the Mouse radio family, I am so proud to be a part of the Magic of the Mouse news family. MagicoftheMouseNews.com has articles for anything and everything you might want to read that's Disney related. Make sure to go check it out, MagicoftheMouseNews.com.
All right, good. Yeah, check that out. Good stuff over there. All right, now, it is Saturday, August 12th. You and I have not sat down in a room together
in like a month
and recorded in quite some time. Even though we've had some episodes come out, we recorded many of those in advance, except for last week's, which I think was episode 182 or 181, where we had an emergency. You were just unable to make it last week.
Yeah.
And your brother stepped in an emergency and took on the co-hosting duties. And I have to tell you, I think he did a pretty good job. I'm really proud of him.
I think he did too.
I also know that, he did it in an emergency. He's not really asking to do it all the time. But certainly it was good. It's good to have a different perspective, a teenage boy perspective on visiting the parks. It was lots of fun. But I am so glad that you are back. And our listeners who've been missing you and missing that wonderful Mimi perspective get to have some more of that this week. We're glad to have you.
No, literally. I've been missing you. So I've been this past week. So let me just give you a rundown. I left for my beach trip. We were gone for a week on the beach trip. I was back for 2 days. I left for camp. I came home Saturday morning when the kids left. I went back to camp Saturday night. I was gone for a week. And then that's how you get last week's episode. That was covered by my brother because I was so tired and we didn't have an episode planned and we didn't have time to record and I wasn't feeling well and all these other things. Okay. So that was Sunday. That was 7 days ago as of right now. On Monday, I had work. On Sunday and Monday, I had work. On Tuesday, I started nannying during the day from 1 to 4, which is the smack middle of the day. I did that every single day this week, weekday this week. And then now I have work on Saturday and Sunday. So I have been so busy. I've also been babysitting at night after nannying. So I literally have not seen Papa at all, in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, we haven't spent a whole lot of time together. I haven't seen much of you.
I'm very, very, very excited to be back. I was very excited to record this episode. I was sitting at work today, not doing any of my side work. And I was thinking about all these different episode ideas I had and being back in the studio and recording. I've missed it and I missed you and I'm excited to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. Yeah. So. I know you've missed it and we're glad you're back, but I know what you've missed the most.
Oh, God.
Yes. I know you have missed sitting across from me for the Disney Dad Joke of the Week. And so are you ready to get back into it?
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for this week's Disney Dad Joke of the Week.
Oh, boy.
Mimi.
Yes.
Did you know that?
No.
That Pascal is tells the best jokes. He is the funniest Disney character. Do you know why?
Mm-mm.
He's actually a stand-up chameleon.
Goodness.
Ready?
Oh.
Get it?
Yes.
Stand-up chameleon. Instead of
Yes.
comedian. He kind of
That was silly.
the funniest. All right, guys. You have jokes. I know you do. And I know
Send
they're
them.
Disney related. And they're probably
want them.
appropriate for the show. And we may not have used it. Send it to us. DisneyAssembly@gmail.com. We'd love to consider using it on the show. You can also send us a message on the socials. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And I'm continuing to say Twitter. Is it X? Is it Twitter? Is it formerly known as Twitter? The X?
I don't know.
It's the X. Whatever. We're still there. But
It's
look for us
Twitter.
on the Twitter.
I don't understand.
We haven't changed any of the icon. This is what aggravates me. I think, and now I'm going to go back and change all the icons on all our websites.
Why did he
on
change
the
it though? Like, I
YouTubes.
don't understand.
I don't want to get into it. It's just really annoying.
Like, I came back to the real world and like Twitter didn't exist anymore, and I still don't really know why.
But it's like, what
It
do you
was
do?
changed.
I mean, do I really have the time? I really don't have the time to go in and change like all of our graphics to get rid of the Twitter bird. So we're just going
keep
to
it.
continue to call it Twitter. I'm sorry if
I
you've
think
moved
everyone's
on.
calling it Twitter.
Yeah, and we haven't decided whether we're going to go with the threads or not. I heard the threads they came and went. There may not be a thing anymore. I don't have any
It's
idea.
not really a thing.
But
It was never really a thing.
You know what we may end up doing, and maybe if you're listening to the show, you can give us some feedback on this. Perhaps we just dump the Twitter altogether, and that we don't have to worry about it. But then I'd still have to go back and change all the website
Right.
and all the graphics.
We have a decent following on Twitter too.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Well, that's that. All right, Mimi, we have an episode planned. This
No
will be a
way.
cool episode.
we usually never have an episode
But we
planned.
do
We
have
just
one
get here
planned
and
this
talk.
week. No, we do have one planned this week. And we actually spent a lot of time preparing this episode because you and I had some pretty hefty debate
Yeah.
over some of this.
You did the preliminary research, and
Yeah.
then we had a very decent discussion.
Right. We did. We're going to discuss what we discussed. But why don't you tell everybody what our main topic of the week is this week?
Yeah. Okay. So we have compiled a list of all of the Disney ride narrators, and we'll explain. Like, you'll sort of understand what that means when we actually start talking about it. But we ranked from 1 to 11 our favorite Disney ride narrators based on how much they talk during the ride, what their purpose is, how entertaining they are, how on theme they are, how they make us feel, all those things. And
We're going to count them down from
Yes.
11 to 1, 1 being our. We actually ranked these
Yes.
11 to 1. And these are from Walt Disney World in Florida. Different attractions, different narrators, people guiding the story. You know,
Right.
narrator is sort of a guide of the story of the ride. And so, yeah, we ranked them from 1 to 11. And so I would say the first half were relatively easy for us to rank, but the top half
It was
where
hard.
things got a little, not heated, but debatey.
Yeah.
Things got a little messy as we got to the top half of our list.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're getting ready to discuss it. Anything we want to talk about before we jump in?
No, this just also includes characters or narrators that aren't like in the ride fully. They're just set up like the pre-show or whatever, which kind of goes into our first one at 11, Dr. Ogden and Dr. Stevens from Flight of Passage. Although they don't narrate the entire ride, they do all of the pre-show, which we consider narration. It propels a story.
Right.
It
Propels
throws
the
you
story,
in.
guides the story, gets
Guides
you
the
ready.
story. Yeah. But they are at the bottom because we couldn't decide if we wanted to include them in our top 10 or not. So we just decided to make it top 11 and put them at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, we could have just said honorable mention, but we had actually about 18 attractions listed. And there were a number that did not make the list.
Yeah.
But we felt fairly strong about Dr. Ogden and Dr. Stevens that maybe they might squeeze in there. Maybe some Flight of Passage fans out there listening to the show. We're
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, what about Dr. Ogden and Dr. Stevens? Well, they're on
Yeah.
the list, but they're down there at number 11.
Yeah. To give you an idea of like the kind of narrator or storyteller that did not make the list was Timothy Mouse from Dumbo, who, although is a character essential to the story and it's a cute little insert, all he really does is say, sit down, buckle your seatbelts.
Right.
You know,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
That did not make the list.
Right. You know who else didn't make the list? And so there's some fans of Dinosaur there. Dr. Seeker.
No.
He talks to you throughout the ride, but
no.
You said no? Okay.
No.
All right, let's get back to the actual list. Not
what's
the
on
list,
the list?
not the list of the things that didn't make the list. Let's do the list of things that made the list.
Yes.
And we're now up to number 10 on the list. And at number 10, we have Hondo Anaka from Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
Yeah. So he does the whole pre-show. It's actually a really fun pre-show, but you don't really hear too much from him during the ride. You hear from him a little bit
he
after.
talks to you during the ride. He goes, now, engineer, shoot your weapon.
Oh, yeah, I guess he does do that.
Pilot, pull the trigger and go to light speed or whatever. That's my Hondo voice or whatever. And so he talks to you throughout the ride, tells you what to do. And then he says, Chewie will take it from here. Right. And so, yeah. I think it's actually a really good narration for that ride.
Yeah.
And I think of all the things about Smuggler's Run, Hondo is one of the better things about that attraction.
The pre-show is also really good. The Rise the Resistance narration did not make the list. I don't even think it made the list.
There's not really a narrator for that.
Right. There isn't a whole lot of narration. There is some, like when you're actually on the ride, you hear from Poe and Finn. You hear from both of them, but it's little snippets that are parts of the story, not necessarily narration.
Right.
So yeah, Hondo.
Hondo at number 10 with Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. All right.
Heck yeah.
Number 9 on the list. Take it. Why don't you take number 9?
Yeah. Okay. Number 9 on the list is Slinky Dog from Slinky Dog Dash. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Raina, I thought you said that you weren't going to include anyone who just says sit down and buckle your seatbelts. Well, wrong. Slinky Dog does more than that. He very subtly gives you like the story of the ride. Like, are you ready to take a ride about Andy's backyard? And like that very subtly gives you like what the story of Slinky Dog Dash is, which I didn't really get. And I probably could have figured it out by myself. But when he said it, it like resonated with me. Oh, like we're taking a ride around Andy's backyard. We're in Andy's backyard. We're not just in Toy Story Land, And then at that point, that's when I realized the giant fence and the footprints on the ground and stuff like that. So he inserts you not only into his own ride, but into the entire land, which is why I think Slinky Dog makes the list. However, he doesn't talk to you the whole ride. So
he does make noise during the ride. I mean, so you're actually riding Slinky Dog. Right. And so he does the, hold on and here we go. And, and when he comes down that hill, he's like, he's like, woo. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say.
But he's not like talking to you.
We determined that does count as narration on the ride. And we thought Slinky Dog is a wonderful attraction. And
I love Slinky Dog.
It's well themed, and we like Slinky Dog very much. So it squeezed into the top 10. It did. Number 9. All right.
Yes.
At number 8, we are going to go over to Epcot. And coming in at number 8 is a very popular ride at Epcot, Living with the Land. The narrator for Living with the Land tells you the whole story. I mean, you're on the boat, and they're telling you stuff the entire time. And I think the actual person who does the narration's name is Mike Bassel. Or is it Bassel? Brassel. Mike Brassel, or maybe Brassel. I don't know. I've heard him on other podcasts before. He's done podcasts. Cool. Very talented voice actor. Does a lot of good stuff. But he is the narrator. The actual narrator is his real name for Living with the Land. But the actual narrator of Living in the Land, walking you through just the story.
Everything. Yeah.
And we love Living with the Land. And, without the narration, it wouldn't be nearly as good of an attraction. So we felt it was deserving of our top 10, and we slipped it in there at the number 8 position.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to stay.
It's not like it's nonfiction. It's not like fictional storytelling. So it didn't rank higher than other things on this list that are, anyway.
We're going to stay in Epcot for number 7. And at first you were a little skeptical of this one, but I think you came around to it landing at number 7. Why don't you share with everyone what came in at number 7?
Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Nigel Channing from Journey into the Imagination with Figment. You could arguably say Figment fits right next to him, but whatever. He shows you the story, talks to you throughout the story. Like his whole, he is self-aware that he is a narrator in the ride, right? So obviously narration right there. His narration is the whole story. That's the entire ride, right? It's very meta in the sense that he's not necessarily narrating as much as he's narrating, but also telling the story, but also is the story.
He's talking directly to you, and he's guiding you through, their laboratory and all the stuff they're doing, and he's part of the pre-show and everything else. So, Yeah, Dr. Nigel Channing. Some people love that attraction. Some people not so much. I could take it or leave it.
Yeah, I'm kind of lukewarm on that attraction. I love Figment, but that actual attraction is just sort of like,
Right.
So.
All right. We're going to ride on over. We're going to get on a
little monorail.
We're going to get on a monorail. We're going to head back to the magical
Por
kingdom.
favor, manténgase alejado de las puertas.
Did I say the magical kingdom?
I think you did.
Hey, it's been a long day. The Magic Kingdom. We're going to the Magic Kingdom.
I made the monorail noises. Don't worry.
And number 6 is in the Magic Kingdom. And I'm going to tell you, this one, people might get mad at us because this particular narrator that we consider the narrator coming in at number 6 doesn't do a whole lot more
than tell you to buckle your seatbelt.
But it's so iconic that we felt it deserved to make the list. And it made it as high as number 6 on our list.
Literally.
And that is the Old Prospector from Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which
Hang
literally
on to your
is
hats and glasses.
Exactly. This is the wildest ride in the wilderness. It is literally, that's about it. There's nothing else you hear until maybe at the very end. They maybe say something like, stay seated until the trains. I don't even
Be sure to watch your kids. If any of you folks are wearing hats or glasses, best remove them, because this here is the wildest ride in the wilderness. Like, I don't think I could,
it's not really narration for the ride.
No, it's not. But I don't think I could name a single other ride pre-show, buckle your seatbelts track. I did that from memory, right? Like, I would not be able to do that for Snow White or Space Mountain or, whatever, right? Like, this very iconic, very solidified into people's brains. Right. So made the list.
Yeah. Number 6. And I should mention this. I'm going to get off the list for a minute. If my voice is a little off this week, and you may hear me sniffing in the background, I am battling a really bad cold and some allergies big time. So,
oh yeah, I've got the allergies too.
If I'm coming off a little nasally this week, more nasally than usual, because I know my voice is naturally like that nasally tone, I apologize.
It's so dry down here in Texas. It has not rained all summer. I think it rained once in Houston. Yeah. Right. So we are living it up with this dust and sand.
It's dusty and yeah. All right. Now we're getting ready to go into the top 5. And this is where things were getting a little heated. Not heated is not the right word.
It wasn't aggressive.
They were getting debatey. Yeah. We had some real debate. It was friendly. We never raised our voices, but it was we had some disagreement.
I think 5-2, things could switch around a little bit, but 1 is definitely number 1.
Yeah, we came around to number 1 being definitely number 1. It didn't take much to get there, but the others, we compromised. We landed where we felt it they deserved. But I think certainly in the top 4, you could interchange some of them over. Yeah. But we're going to do number 5. Before we get to number 1, we're going to do number 5. Why don't you introduce everyone to number 5 of the best narrators on Disney attractions out of Walt Disney World?
Number 5 was the one that I kind of fought for a little bit. But you made the really good point. They don't host the whole time. They don't narrate the whole time. So the Tiki Birds from the Tiki Room, I fought for this one. I thought it should be higher on the list because the Tiki Birds are the whole show, right? Of course they're narrating. They're telling you the story. They are the story. And then you were sort of well, they're not necessarily the main 4, Jose, Fritz. I don't know. I lost him. Jose, Fritz, Carlos.
I think Carlos might be one. Yeah.
And then the last one.
I don't remember.
But either way, they only host at the beginning and then the show starts. And you wouldn't necessarily sit down to watch the Lion King or the Nemo attraction or show in Animal Kingdom and then be like, oh yeah, Nemo narrated the whole time, right? And that was sort of a solid point to me that allowed me to put the Tiki Birds at 5.
Yeah. Listen,
I love the Tiki Birds.
We love the Tiki Birds. We love that show. We love the Enchanted Tiki Room. Certainly the show begins with the pre-show where birds come out and do the pre-show. And then, it's very good narration. It's an attraction. It's classic. And we really enjoy it. So number 5.
It's a weird blend of narration, but also performance, which is, I think, why it lands at only 5. But 5 is still pretty good. So
now we're going to get where it really got messy.
Yeah, no, it was bad 4, at this point.
Because this is where listeners are going to be like,
what
do you mean 4? What could be possibly better than that? And you'll see what we thought, right, as we get closer to number 1.
Well, what's correct? Because what we think is correct.
I don't know about that. But
obviously,
of course, after the show, we'll tell everybody how they can get in touch with us to correct us. But at number 4 on our list staying in the Magic Kingdom, over in Liberty Square at the Haunted Mansion, the ghost host.
Yeah.
You know, the ghost host is not talking to you the entire time, but in each of the scenes, there is narration,
right,
telling you what's going on, sort of setting the tone. And the ghost host narration for the Haunted Mansion it's very close to perfect.
It is. It is perfect. The narration is perfect. But I would say, although the ghost host is vital to the experience of the Haunted Mansion, you could go through the Haunted Mansion without the ghost host and still get the story. And that's kind of how I justified putting ghost host at 4.
Yeah, we could have gone anyway. Ghost host could have been anywhere from 4 to 2. I don't know if it would have been number 1.
The next 3 rides don't exist without their narrators.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, or at least not as strongly. Not as strong.
But the Haunted Mansion could stand strongly as an attraction without the ghost host. That doesn't mean that I don't think the ghost host is the most important part of the ride, but
yeah, we were really nitpicking at this point, right? We were nitpicking at this point. So number 4 for us of the ghost best host. Narrators of a Disney attraction at Walt Disney World is Ghost Host over at the Haunted Mansion. Now, we're in the top 3. And some of you that are listening might be keeping track and you'll say, wait, what about this ride? What about this ride? Well, maybe it'll be in the top 3. Relax, calm down. It's okay. But Mimi, why don't you share with everyone who we have in at number 3?
Number 3, staying in Magic Kingdom, walking on over past Fantasyland into Tomorrowland, the People Mover. I don't remember his name. It starts with an O. It's like...
Well, no, the gentleman who actually does the voice is the same guy who does Living with the Land.
Yeah. But the narrator on the People Mover has a character. He has a name.
Oh, yeah. Right.
He has a name. But aside from just him telling you then this is Space Mountain and this is Buzz Lightyear and this is this and this is that. The little bits and pieces like incoming call for Mr. Morrow, Mr. Tom Morrow, those little, bits of narration, bits of dialogue, make the People Mover what it is. So much so that I will sit and I will listen to the People Mover narration and ambiance to do my homework because it calms me down. The People Mover narration is golden. I think it's diamond level. I think it could be number 1, but you did not think so.
It could be number 1. It came in at number 3 because we had 2 others that we thought were slightly above, but you really wanted People Mover at number 1.
My love for the People Mover and the narration and everything about it is insane. Literally, when I tell you the People Mover dialogue ambiance from Walk About the World on Spotify came in on my Spotify Wrapped this last year, I'm not joking. I listened to it every single day to do my homework. I love this soundtrack so much. It's very close to my heart.
Well, it's very good. And that's why it's all the way up at number 3 on our list. And now we're getting ready to do the top 2. And again, you may be listening and going, I think I know what number 1 is. And maybe you do, maybe you don't.
You're wrong.
But coming in at number 2 might be some people's choice for number 1. And that is Dame Judi Dench at Spaceship Earth over in Epcot.
Yeah.
I love Spaceship Earth.
Wait, you didn't let me do the monorail noises.
Okay, do them.
Por favor, manténgase. I lost it. De alejado de las puertas.
Por favor, manténgase alejado de las puertas. Something like that.
I don't think that's right. I think I'm doing it wrong. Either way.
It's not right.
We took the monorail over to Epcot and now we're at Spaceship Earth. Continue.
Cough button. Spaceship Earth. Now, Judi Dench was has not been the only narrator. Originally it was Jeremy Irons, I believe, was the actor that did the original Spaceship Earth narration. Judi Dench replaced his narration with hers. And there's been talk over the last few years that Spaceship Earth is due for a refresh and possibly a new narration. But until then, we have Judi Dench, and we love Judi Dench's narration of Spaceship Earth. And look, I've learned more about the history of the world from riding Spaceship Earth than I remember from taking history in high school.
Thank the Phoenicians.
I thank the Phoenicians.
The way she says it, it just sticks with you.
That's true.
I can hear it in my voice.
Yeah.
Thank the Phoenicians.
I think that is a classic narration. It is a classic. It's one of the. It had to be at the top. As a matter of fact, at one point I thought it was the top. I thought it would have been number 1.
It could have been.
But it slipped to number 2.
I think it still could be.
It could be, but it slipped to number 2 as we were talking through it.
Yeah. Our Spaceship Earth.
Yes.
She says it like that. With that goofy little British
There's nothing goofy about that.
It's so good.
It's offending all of our friends across the pond.
If you are from
we have listeners.
British, if you are
we
from
have
British.
listeners from over there, and we love her very much.
Do we have British listeners?
Yes, we do.
What if
Absolutely.
it's Judy Dench herself that listens to our
Not
podcast?
anymore. Not after you with your insults.
She says it in this very posh way. It's adorable. I love it. I love Spaceship
That's
Earth. We love the Spaceship Earth narration.
And they're listening to us saying, and y'all are saying this in your very hick voice from being in Texas, right?
Hey, y'all.
We don't talk that way.
Welcome to Disney Assembled.
We do not talk that way. That is not how we speak.
I'm Amy.
Stop.
This is my papa.
Sit down and record and put your hats and glasses away because we're going to be riding a train to,
What the-
I don't know, it's like
This is
goofy.
the wildest podcast.
Folks, we're going to do the wildest podcast in the wilderness.
I come back from camp with a Southern accent because there's so many deeply Southern people
I
there.
just sniff so loud into the microphone.
You can see it
I
register.
can't help it. I'm so
position.
sorry, and I'm not good enough at editing to get that out.
It's okay.
So you guys get to enjoy the fruits of my whatever the cold or allergy.
Okay.
All right, we're up to number one.
British
Listen,
people,
before
we
we do
love
number
you.
one, we need to recap number 11 and number 2. Mimi,
okay.
I'm about to sniff again, so why don't you do that?
Okay, yeah. So at number 11, we've got Dr. Ogden and Stevens from Flight of Passage. Number 10, we've got Hondo Last Name from Smuggler's Run. At number
Onaka.
He's over there blowing into a tissue. Okay. At number 9, we've got Slinky Dog from Slinky Dog Dash. At number 8, we've got Living with the Land from Living with the Land. Number 7, we've got Dr. Nigel Channing / Figment from Journey into the Imagination. At number 6, we've got the Old Prospector from Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Number 5, we've got the Tiki Birds from The Enchanted Tiki Room. Number 4, Ghost Host, Haunted Mansion, obviously. Number 3, People Mover. And number 2, our British Queen, Judi Dench from Spaceship Earth.
All right, that brings us to number 1. And some people may be wondering what is left. I mean, to be honest with you,
Because this one didn't really occur to me when you said narrator.
and when we said it, then it made complete sense, and it was an obvious number 1 in our minds.
This
but
one
some
doesn't
people may be
click as a
listening and they'd be
narrator.
going, "What are they talking about? Is it Mickey's Philhar Magic? Is it?
It's not Phil.
Is it? I don't know. Could it possibly be? The
Could it possibly be Aladdin?
could it be Aladdin from the Magic Carpets of
Carpets?
Aladdin? Is it?
Could it be Remy from Remy's Ratatouille
Is it Buzz
Adventure?
and Woody from Toy Story Mania? Who could possibly be number 1? But let's do the drum roll. Drum roll, please. The number 1 top narrator for a Disney World attraction in Walt Disney World in Florida is
Jungle Cruise Skipper.
Your skipper on the Jungle Cruise.
Each individual skipper gets that. They all get grouped into one category. Skipper Jungle Cruise as the best narrators in Walt Disney World. Papa go.
Listen. Those guys, yes, there is somewhat of a script and they have to follow a certain pattern in what they have to say. But these are live narrators. These Jungle Cruise skippers are very talented. They're funny. They're engaging. And it's not a recording. You go to these other attractions, they're all recorded, right? None of this live stuff. The Jungle Cruise skipper is live and in person, not an animatronic, sitting in front of you, telling you the jokes, getting you through the river in one piece, getting you back, and
Telling you the story.
Big props and respect to them because they do that over and over and over, and every single group of people that get into the boat is treated with the same amount of enthusiasm, whether it's your last group for the day or your first group of the day. The Jungle Cruise skippers are among my favorite cast members at Walt Disney World and Disneyland too. There's Jungle Cruise in Disneyland in Florida, in California, excuse me. But yes, when we sat down and talked about the narrators, I mean, they have to be number 1. I mean, yeah.
It's live, it's unique, it's original. It has to be individualized every single time. And I think that takes a massive amount of talent and hard work to make it perfect and seamless every single time. They also the Jungle Cruise doesn't exist without the skipper. Even though the Jungle Cruise has become very much intertwined with the skipper and the silly jokes and the dad jokes and the fun, lightheartedness of it all, if you take all of that out and just have the ride as it is with the ride vehicle, with the boat, with the animatronics, it's not the same. You don't get the story.
No.
The story doesn't exist without the skipper. And that doesn't even mention everything that the skipper personally does to make every single ride experience unique.
Right.
Skipper has to be number one on that narration list. They
Absolutely.
are the narrator, they are the storyteller, but they are not the story. And I think that's important.
It is. And so that's it. That's our top 11 list of the top Walt Disney World attraction narrators in Walt Disney World in Florida. And there you have it. Guys, we hope you agree with us. You may not agree with us, and that's okay. I mean, this is America. You don't have to agree with us, but you have to we ask you to be respectful.
You have to agree with us.
Mimi, listen, how can our friends who are listening to this show give us feedback, tell us what they thought about our top 11 list, maybe share some narrators that we didn't include on the list that they think should have been included on the list? How can they get in touch with us?
Yeah, so you guys can send us an email, disneyassembled@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, X, Threads, whatever.
Not Threads. We're not on the Threads.
At Disney Assembled. But if you guys want to support the show further, the link to our TeePublic, Patreon, Buy Us a Dole Whip, and all that other super fun stuff is on our website, DisneyAssembled.com. Make sure to go check it out.
Absolutely do that. We have a YouTube channel. Mimi's been gone for essentially a month. We have not been able to produce any new videos while she was gone, even though I do need to put some of the episode videos up. The last 2 weeks, I think I got to put the next few episodes up on the YouTubes. But listen, if you're not subscribed yet on the YouTube, you need to do that. YouTube.com, look for Disney Assembled, at Disney Assembled over on YouTube. And really, listen, Disney Assembled, we're creating the joy. We're spreading joy. We're bringing that Disney magic all over the place. And we're going to continue to do this for some time. We need your help, and it costs nothing. The best thing you can do to help us spread that joy and that Disney magic is to make sure you share the show with your friends. And if you haven't done so already on your podcast player of choice, we would greatly appreciate your consideration of a 5-star rating and a very positive review. Those reviews are so important in helping people find the show. And the more people who listen, the happier they are. And the happier they are, the happier the world gets. And we need happier world.
Yes,
so
I agree.
Help the world get happier.
You know what makes me happy?
Leave us the 5-star rating and review.
When my cat comes in here and meows and walks around and then flops on the ground and then there she goes.
She's just meowing her head off. Yeah.
Come here, baby girl.
Yeah, she wants you to play with her.
And flop.
Yeah, and flops.
And flops right on my leg.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. I hope it brought a smile to your face, a little extra magic to your day, and that all-important sprinkle of pixie dust to your week. Thanks for listening, and until next time,
see you real soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please collect your belongings, watch your head and step, and take small children by the hand.